He is known by so many names: Mephistopheles, Baphomet, Lucifer, This, also called Apopiper, Apep, Shatter, the god Set, Rereko. And in ancient Kemet, he was the popular figure for demons, evil spirit, chaos, and he came as a serpent, a wily serpent in ancient times, before Christianity and Judaism and Islam. He was the enemy of the god Re, as one who constantly generated negative forces. He also is accused of constantly influencing our feelings of inferiority, thoughts of failing, and habitual sinning, and the evil in all its forms, causing human suffering. The question is there a devil? Is there a devil in African spirituality? How can you deal with such forces? You can cast away devils. We want to look at the real issues of evil and the devil by identifying the real devil, acknowledging another Satan internalized, evidence from untempered 2,000-year proof in ancient Africa, and we can chase the devil they put in you. The real devil is anything that causes evil, like discomfort, pain, and illusion, and it has now become personified. You can cast out that by easily discarding its personification, its symbol or representation, but you need to deal with the evil, Ibi, Ububi, Okubi, Uipi, Ihe, Ojo, or Yuv. Once it is personalized, it becomes the devil. Our ancestors in ancient times never personalized it or gave it any public adoration in terms of acknowledging the images that came out of it. Yes, the real devil, we have identified it. It comes from religion because of their actions, both Christianity, Islam, and Judaism, in slave trade and colonization and dehumanizing us, and also by creating a political system that encourages white supremacy, male supremacy, and ecocide and child abuse, genocide, slavery, cheap labor, land grab, causing trauma and exploitation of our natural resources. These are the actions that tells us that the religions are harbingers of all war. Evil is real. We have given the prime examples of slavery, and we have identified Muslims, Christians, Jews, and other evil people that colonized and continue to destroy, to dehumanize innocent people. But it is the actions of those who came with the Bible and the Quran and the systems that tells us that they are harbingers of evil. Today, they are sitting on the foundations and advantages of the evils and wars that they orchestrated all over the earth on innocent, loving people. Another, Satan internalized through Christianity, which has popularized Satan the devil as the enemy and fighter of the great creator who is unknown and who is beyond our understanding. Satan is also known as the devil, is an entity in the Abrahamic religions who seduces humans into sin or falsehood. They call him a fallen angel or a genie who used to possess great power and trust of God. If you believe in such battles that God or the creator, the real creator, can battle and fail to stop his or her or its creation, then you are out of all sorts. How then can you cast out this type of devil, this type of mentality? By knowing and by knowledge, knowing that Satan is a concept imported into African societies through colonialism, enslavement, and used to stigmatize our own spirituality, and we fall and fell for it. Most Africans today will agree with the definition of Satan coming from Europe to them. And although in our own systems, spiritual systems, there are many frightening spirits, especially in voodoo, and Adeti and Sakpata and Eneke, such spirits are inherently evil because they can bring positive outcomes as well as negative outcomes depending with the use. African spirituality includes metaphysics, alchemy, voodoo, astrology, numerology, symbology, cosmology, obia, or calling orishas. That's why there were laws against these practices enacted in all our lands to disempower us. Christians claim to cast out devils, but they continuously cast out devils. Muslims stone the devil yearly, but they still cannot deal with the evil that exists all over, or the evil they performed over other people. They misunderstand the source of their teachings, that it came from ancient African concept of evil, which they now personify and think that it is the devil. And when they stone him, they think they are stoning the devil instead of stoning their own character and crucifying their own character so that they can be people of positive and the people of Ma'at. The evidence about all this comes from the untempered source, which we shall review shortly. Because this untempered source, which was discovered in ancient Africa, is built on oral evidence that prevails amongst a lot of melanin-dominant human spiritual systems, where we believe that they are spiritual beings and that there's a spiritual realm full of spiritual beings, which scientists refuse to acknowledge. Some scientists accept it, but a lot refuse, and the general thrust of evolution is to discard this spiritual realm. This is the wily aspect of this negative force that we identified initially, now personified as Satan, the devil. These created entities are subject to a number of principles and laws of the ultimate creator. They cannot attack you if you do not allow them. They cannot attack you if you know about them, because you have the knowledge, as we have already indicated, and you also have ancestors and other positive and righteous divinities to protect you. Yet there is a destructive spirit, the witching spirit, Umtakat, the lowest spirit in the hierarchy of African spirits, which is evil in human practice. It is an evil spirit that fights to spoil everything in life and on earth, exhibited by enslavers and colonizers and the current people that perform war and evil on us and on humanity. The African witchcraft spirit works in collaboration with all other negative spirits. No wonder why our own African witches never fight or never fought colonialism, slavery, debauchery, and other ills. Their deeds deems them agents of devils, aliens, goritoto, shitauri, and they use negative thoughts and negative spirit and traps. Their spiritual vibes and their entities create otokolosh, ghost, and other worlds. To cast out these, you need the help of the spirit of truth, the spirit of knowledge that is found amongst those that are good sangomas, good diviners, who knows the truth, the whole truth, and who stick with the truth and never veer from the truth, and they're experts in driving these devils or other personifications of such spirits out of areas and people. There is archaeological evidence that come from Africa, a place known as Nag Hammadi, where a library was discovered. This Nag Hammadi has never been tampered with for 2,000 years, so it captures the understanding of 2,000 years ago, when it pertains to the devil, to Satan, and to evil. The King James Version Bible and many other Bibles, based on the Sinai Bible and housed in the British Museum, has a lot of changes. When you compare with this original text of what was known 2,000 years ago, you realize that there is an explanation of the fall of creation, and the myth explains how one of these archons or powers or dimensions inadvertently created an imperfect divine being known as the Elder Baoth, the damaged craftsman god that was banished from the pleroma, purity, to a lower realm, lower dimension, where it created the subordinate material and the corporeal world in which humanity dwells. It is similar with our understanding of the supreme, unknown, not a spirit, not a being, creator who goes beyond the chasm, Mkaha, and the gods and goddesses, the living dead, the spirits, the impersonal dead, Mskabanu, and created spirits are intermediaries or are in between us and the ultimate chasm. This is where the god Set, Shatter, Apopiper dwells or operates. This damage we are talking about reigns as God over this material world with its inferior state of thought and spirit and vibration. Some mystical teachings from our ancient ancestors can now be realized to identify that the Old Testament God Yahweh, who rules harshly over this universe or portrayed with such genocidal behavior and tendencies, is a subordinate damage, not the real creator. There is a divine spark that was scattered and that is now in some people, in some human beings, and you can identify yourself and know that you have got divine spark when you connect to this Gnostic or to this mystic system and you desire to understand animism and totemism, which are crucial systems that are used by the divine spark to cause you to access profound messages hidden in your totems and in your spirit and in your soul. That you have got a divine spark, and you can use that understanding and that knowledge to cast off the devils emanating from Yaldabaoth. If you constantly battle against feelings of inferiority, thoughts of failings, and habitual hearing voices saying you are a loser or anything negative, or you are not happy, you are not excited, this is sure proof that you are under attack by negative spirits. Immediately you must enhance your mystical knowledge to tackle the source of attack, whether internal or external. You must also be aware that the religions that induced a slave mentality in our race, colonized our race, destroyed our culture, demonized our ancestors, cannot be the basis of you being able to cast away these devils, but they will collaborate with you and deceive you to cast out their impact. You should never convert to these religions. You should come out of these religions because they are demons in there. What is a demon? These demons are deities, divine powers, lesser gods, guiding spirits, tutelary deities, once genius, lot, or fortune. They are a spirit, an evil spirit, malignant supernatural being in Kabas, and a devil. This is the source of demon, Da, which is demon, which is evil, from the devil. And the devil, we are identifying the other devil here, is Yaldabaoth. As taught by our sage, Babu Credo Mutwa, Samahongo is a savage alien, Shatter, Set, Satan spirit. So how can you cast out these devils? Yes, you can cast them out. Is there a devil in African spirituality? The answer is no, and also yes. How can you deal with such forces? By spewing it and by following a certain practice in your life. You must pour libation to cast that out and command it out. When you pour libation, you must also engage in devotional worship and this devotional study and research and enmeshed in these studies. You must concentrate and enjoy sacred music and sacred dances. You must be engaged also in practices where you really give out and burn incense. Avoid drugs, avoid foods that are not ours, wrong foods that are not ours. They open you up to these devils. Foods like nicotine, cigarettes, amphetamines, speed, cocaine, diet pills, and the genetically modified foods, they open up your body to invasion of these spirits and these demons. That's why they are encouraged. That's why they are given. You must also avoid wrong entertainment, violent entertainment, and bloody games or extremes. You must walk the middle road. Reading books on morality will make you as moral as reading books on health will heal your sickness. In order to know the truth, you must practice and live it. This is Nature Volume 1. What can you do? You must realize that we are under soul consciousness battles. that we must enhance our consciousness. True teaching is not an accumulation of knowledge. It is an awakening of consciousness which goes through successive stages. So your challenges, your trials are strengthening and purifying your divine consciousness. In terms of ability to stave off these devils, make sure you remain sharply awake. Check and maintain your inner serenity, high degree of personal consciousness that fluctuates between high consciousness and normal consciousness. Sustain a fearless attitude and never be scared of dying. This can only be attained through a personal journey and reaching into the depths of your spiritual inner resources to transcend any self-interest by remembering that you are participating in mystical driven life, and join a group or a movement that enhances your soul. A lot of people say African spirituality is useless. They are correct, because what they do not realize is that African spirituality is not just about mysticism or ritual or libation or anything. It is about your practical way of life and how you employ the divinities, because the divinities represent practical responsibilities inside you, because the kingdom of heaven is inside you. These are talents, are gifts, are capacities that these divinities impart and exude out of us when we employ them and when we apply the principles. You need to know and experiment with these divinities. For example, if you need to develop yourself and have power in self-defense, call Herukuti. Inner peace, call Amen. Unity, call Ausari. To understand technology or the spirit of technology, call Puta. For strategic thinking, Apedemak. For beauty, Hetheru and Oshan. For meditation, Isisu. For architecture, Seishat. For holistic health, Besha, Imutepo or Anobisa. For education, Jikahuti. For entrepreneurship, Sekhmet. So you need to understand that once you ignore these, you have been deceived and you are not using your inner tools, and the Creator gave you these tools inside you via the divine spark, so that you can cast out all devils far and away for good. Can you cast devils away? Yes, you can. But what about those that instantly attack you or ambush you? Yes, to get that information, please send us an email on John@Marfado. Subscribe to our channel, Hamiti Hebrew Ethics. Your manager Topi, Prestisha, Rabbi LM Tumizulu, Kunikeni Mjakanja Mskawan, saying we can cast out any devil anytime, anywhere, when we know something greater than Yaldabaoth. Amen.